Welcome back into the Friday Night 360 AZ preview show. Haley Stasiak and Jordan Ham, joined now by Chandler senior quarterback Jacob Conover. Jacob, thanks for taking the time to join us today.
Thanks for having me.
It's your last regular season of your high school career this Friday night against crosstown rival Hamilton. What are you feeling as you head into this game and then into the playoffs with your senior year starting to wind down?
With this game, it's always going to be a big game no matter, what's going on. It's got the huge history of it. It's a big game. We're excited. We take it game by game, not overlooking what's going to happen in the playoffs. But, being senior year, it's kind of starting to hit me now that it's almost over. But ultimately, we can't wait to play Friday night.
You have a very seasoned group on the offensive side of the football with yourself, Braden Leibrock, quite a few guys along the line, to Carlos Brooks. Just what has this group been able to do so well to get you guys off to such a hot start this year?
We have no tendencies, and that's a huge thing when people are trying to scout us. What do they do well? And ultimately, when you're watching us, we've got threats on the offensive line, receivers, tight ends, running backs, kind of everywhere. And when you've got guys who can do what they do game in and game out, it's pretty deadly.
The only time that your team did not reach the 35-point mark was Game 1 against Corona Centennial. A tough loss for you guys, but how did that really help you guys kind of jumpstart this 8-game win streak for you?
It lets us know where we are and what kind of team we need to become. And Coach Wellen does a really good job of that, of scheduling out-of-state games for us to identify what team we are and what we need to improve. And ultimately, that's what happened. We found out that what it's going to take to become a Chandler team.
What are your biggest takeaways from this season? Is this team any different from your past teams?
Each team's going to be unique in some way, and along with this team, obviously we have different offensive threats, but I want to speak more about the defensive side. This is one of the best defenses I think Chandler's ever had. Zach Bowers does an amazing job of leading that defense, and along with the other seniors that are making a huge impact. But I think this is one of the best defenses we've ever had.
What would it mean to you? Let's say, Chandler does run the table. You guys are able to win state. What would it mean to go back to back to back as the starting quarterback for the Chandler Wolves?
It'd be an amazing experience, and ultimately that's what we're trying to do. But I think it's bigger than that. We really are just trying to leave a legacy for what the people of Chandler have made this high school into be in the football program. And all the past Wolves have built it to this point. We're just trying to carry on that legacy for others to join us.
What advice would you give yourself now, looking back on these last 3 years as a sophomore or as a senior now, looking back at your sophomore self? What would you tell yourself?
I'd probably tell myself to take it all in day by day, because it flies by. 4 years felt like it was over, like it was just a month. I can remember freshman year, sophomore, I can remember every game, and it's just gone by really fast, and I would just say soak it in while it lasts.
I know we've talked a lot of big picture here. It sounds like we're ready to play the graduation song by Vitamin C, but let's focus in on this week. Still a lot of football left to be played for you here for the Chandler Wolves. With Hamilton, obviously you mentioned a big rivalry game. Just what do you see out of that defense for the Huskies this year?
They've got athletes on the field, and so do we, but I think a big thing that we always do is just worry about ourselves, and because ultimately we don't know what Hamilton's going to do, but as long as we focus on ourselves and what we've worked on, we'll end up playing really well.
Jacob, we appreciate the time. Good luck this Friday and into the playoffs.
Thank you.
That was Chandler senior quarterback Jacob Conover. Jordan, you're going to be doing play-by-play for this game on Friday. What are you kind of looking at here early?
To see how Chandler is able, it seems like they've been able, for most of the season just to get off to a hot start really quickly, get the run game going to Carlos Brooks has been great, and kind of get those athletes into some situations where they can really, get out and have some explosive plays. Hamilton is not having the year that they hoped that they were, but they still have a ton of talent as well. So that could be, that's what they're going to try to limit, is try to keep it close, try to get in a situation where they can strike in the fourth quarter, because they do have those big-time athletes. Brendan Rice on the outside, I really like what he's brought to the table this year. So I think that's kind of going to be the big takeaway for those, two schools.
Jacob mentioned the Chandler defense and how he thinks this has been one of the best defenses Chandler's had. I know we've heard that from a lot of media members and different people around the Arizona high school football community as well. What is it, in your opinion, about this defense that makes it so potent?
The experience. I mean, you talk about, we talked about Jacob Conover being a 3-year starter. Zach Bowers, who he kind of mentioned, has been kind of the quarterback of that defense. He's played a ton as well over the years. So I think it's just the experience factor. Sean Aguano, the past couple of years, has done a really good job of kind of highlighting those young guys and making sure that they continue to grow over the years. So they do kind of have certain years where it all kind of comes to a head, where there's this really strong senior group, but then you have juniors like Gunnar Maldonado, and it seems like they always have a sophomore ready to go should someone go down to injury or is struggling, that sort of thing. That's kind of been the difference for Chandler the past couple of years in 6A. There have been really good offenses. There's been the Brock Purdy Perry offense. There's been the Tyler Shuck Hamilton offense. They've had really good sides of the football, but I think the depth that Chandler has in the defense has made them the difference makers in 6A, and that's why they're winning the state championships.
Crosstown rivalry between Chandler and Hamilton to wrap up the 2018 regular season for those two teams. When we come back, we're going to have 12 News Sports' Cam Cox. Keep it right here on the Friday Night 360 AZ Preview Show.